a lot of the people I was having conversation with on Twitter were either just Reddit fans or they were something called science writers. So they have a degree in science writing, but they are not.
They don't do primary science.
They don't do primary science.
So you need to talk to Lisa Randall.
Right. So Lisa's a friend. I finally read Lisa's work. She is a staunch atheist. We had dinner. We talked about it. And I read Frank Wilczek, who won the Nobel Prize for Physics, I think in 2004, for an incredibly interesting argument about the Big Bang. I recommend his work to anyone interested in this. And we ended up, just in a way that like beautifully, helpfully ended the book, having an exchange on Twitter that was one of the most powerful of my life, that really closed the book for me, literally and figuratively, on this question about God's existence and its relation to Twitter. So typically, and this also answers your question, I believe what works, right? So, and I think other people do too. What works to shore up their class position? What works to win a point at the seminar table? What works to get them through the day? What works to make them happy? What works to make them cool? What works to get them well, right? Yep. And I mean, look at the beliefs of Steve Jobs and the people at Compaq, and like these are weird set of beliefs, right?
Fruitarian?
And yes, exactly.
I mean, Steve was a fruitarian for a while.
Yes.
I didn't believe in deodorant.
Fruitarianism. There's also breatharians. They live on air. Okay. So
I think by default, we're all part of that cult.
Yeah. Right, exactly. Yes. Yeah. But just air, I'm not going to try it today. How about that? So we all have a weird set of beliefs, just a muddied set of beliefs. Why else would people read their horoscopes, and every place has to have a horoscope? Sure. All right. So I was after things cooled off for me on Twitter, I was looking around, searching by my name or whatever, my handle, and I noticed that, I had just read Frank Wilczek, this physicist, and so I was looking at his Twitter feed, and it's really interesting. And what he said was, he had a tweet that said, "They say it works even if you don't believe in it," right? And then there was a link. And the link was to Wintley Phipps, this incredible baritone and a sort of expert on slave music, on gospel music, at, I think, Carnegie Hall, or it might have been Lincoln Center, doing a performance of Amazing Grace. And he started by playing on the pentatonic scale. I knew nothing about this. He calls it the slave scale, only the black notes. So he started hitting just the black keys, the flats and sharps, and playing the beginning of this song. And what he said was, he thought the melody was a slave melody, but then the lyrics were written by, the words were written by the captain of the slave ship. And what he imagined was this melody being hummed on the ship, and the much more exalted lyrics being written by this slave captain who found himself redeemed and pushed back on his past life and fell to his knees and was repentant. This guy did a version of the song, I won't even try, that had the sighs and rattling of chains in his voice, Wintley Phipps. I recommend this to everyone. Yeah. It is very, very hard to watch this and not cry. Right. It is very, very hard to watch this and not believe in grace. Right. And this was a physicist with a Nobel Prize in physics. He was not a science writer. He was not a Reddit reader. Yeah. Who said, they say it works even if you don't believe in it. Something about that had worked for him. Right. And he had been overcome with something like faith or grace. Yeah. So
most of these scientists do get to that point in their life where if you talk to them, consciousness, our own consciousness, is something that we cannot explain. Right. And we are still struggling with consciousness, and we're very much struggling with what is outside of the universe and then what's inside of the universe. And actually, it's Lisa's life work is dark matter and the spaces in between that we know there's something there, but we are not able to perceive it. We can only perceive the impact it's having on the other things that are perceivable.
That's right. And
which is mind-blowing when you think about it.
Absolutely. And it's our minds can almost not grasp it. And that's actually something I say about the internet itself. When I was looking at that phosphor screen in that dark yonder beyond the green letters, I was trying very hard, and I think we all were in those days, trying to fathom what's out there.
This is my favorite ad read on the planet. I love Audible. I've been an Audible customer for a decade, and I have hundreds of audiobooks. Yes, you heard that right. Literally hundreds of audiobooks. And, I like to hike. You guys see pictures of me on my social media hiking. Sometimes I go hiking with my daughter. A lot of times I decide to walk from meeting to meeting in the city. I leave a little extra time, half an hour, 45 minutes, and I'm in the car, right? You're driving, going down to Palo Alto, coming back to the city, stopping everywhere in between, doing my business. And when I do that and I'm on the treadmill or the elliptical or the rowing machine, I like to get smarter. I like to be more worldly, and Audible is my way to do that. I have the Platinum offering, which is 2 books a month. You get dozens of books a year. And, I've told you about some books I've been listening to: The Man Who Knew Infinity, The Hobbit, which I listened to with my daughter, Building Great Sentences, which you probably see in my work. I've been doing these really long, complicated compound sentences, and it's really helped me. I'm doing an Increase Your Vocabulary book right now from the Great Lessons. And Smarter, Faster, Better was my last pick, but I have one out of left field. And I'm going to tell you my technique on Audible. I go to audible.com and I look at what's best selling, and I look in categories that maybe I'm weak in, or maybe I don't have as much exposure to. One of those is science. I need to be up on science, and sometimes I feel, a little self-conscious. Maybe I don't know a lot of the classics. Maybe I don't know a lot of the things I should know. And I saw this book, Sapiens, and it had over 4,000 reviews, and it had 4.5 stars. And so I'm always looking for that when I'm looking through the bestsellers, when I'm looking through the highest ranked. I'm looking for 2 things. One, a lot of reviews and a high rating. And then I go read the reviews. And the reviews on Audible are amazing. There's so many super fans like me on there, and I don't take the time to review books, so I feel kind of guilty about that, but I will draft off of the people who do. And Sapiens is a 15-hour book, and I'm in chapter 6 of 21 right now, and I am riveted, so riveted by this book, Sapiens, which is about humans and how there were multiple types of humans on the planet concurrently, and how we domesticated animals, and how we domesticated wheat, or how wheat domesticated us, and how we were hunter-gatherers. And it just explains the history and the evolution of humans, and it really relates back to today and people, people's own happiness today and how we're evolving. This book is amazing. I literally was in my garage, I parked, and I stayed in my car for 15 minutes because I couldn't stop listening to it. And there's a great feature in Audible that I discovered about a year ago. It's the sleep timer. So when I'm going to go to bed, sometimes I have a hard time sleeping, right? We all have a hard time because we keep looking at our damn screens. We keep doing Twitter or Facebook and, looking at things in our social feed. Here's a better strategy. You go to Audible. You get a really great book. You put on the sleep timer for 15 minutes. Then you fall asleep listening to a great book. And if you're still awake, you put it on another 15 minutes. If you fall asleep and you think you missed the last 5 minutes, when you wake up in the morning, you just rewind 5 minutes and you listen to the text over again or whatever. This is what I've been doing, and it works great for me. You own your books. It's not a streaming service. That would suck if you didn't own the books. You own the books, which is great because my wife and my daughter also listen to books on our account. And I also can listen to them now on the Alexa. So I have the Amazon Echo, and I'm like, Alexa, play this audiobook from Audible, and it does it. It's great. I love reading books, but my eyes get tired, and a lot of times I have to have my eyes on the road. Self-driving cars are not here yet. So Audible is the perfect solution. I am a huge fan of Audible. Go to audible.com/twist and get your 30-day trial membership. And I got to tell you, I literally want to stop reading right now and stop the episode and go read Sapiens, because I am loving this book, A Brief History of Humankind. And it's not brief, it's 15 hours. And where do you get a value like that? For $10 to get 15 hours? It's unbelievable. It's less than $1 an hour. So go ahead and check out Sapiens. I love it. And I'm looking for some people to talk to it about. So if you're a friend of mine and you plan on having dinner or lunch with me, please read the book so we can talk about it. Go ahead and go to audible.com/twist, audible.com/twist, and download my book of the week for free by signing up at audible.com/twist. Go get Sapiens for free. It's on your Uncle Jason. Okay, let's get back to this amazing episode. I could talk about Audible all day, and I frequently do. Okay, let's get back to this amazing episode.